Good afternoon, everybody. I think it's time, although I can't hear the bells from the Catholic Church. I'm pretty sure it is 12 o'clock. So welcome to you, to all of you who are listening now or listening later on. So today is a reflection on Scripture we call Lectio Divino. And just for those of you who haven't done this kind of thing before, Lectio Divina is silent prayer based on a scripture that I have chosen for this morning. What happens is that I will read the scripture twice. We will then have 10 minutes of silence. I will read the scripture again. And then we will have another 10 minutes of silence. Sorry, I'm just a bit distracted because I'm not sure if anybody is hearing this. Anyway, so as usual, the meditation will start with the gong and end with the gong. So you know where you are. And then to end the whole reflection, I will just simply read that scripture again. And we will have time after that for you to make any comments or questions. Those of you who wonder what centering prayer is, it is a type of meditation, but it is always prayer-centered. It's always centered on scripture or on prayer. So it's the Christian version of meditation. It was explored and brought to us by Thomas Keating, a monk who died, I think, about 2 years ago in the States. Hello, Diana. Welcome. Thank you for telling me you're there. Okay, I'm going to start with the scripture now. It is from Phillipians chapter 2, and it's verses 1 to 4. If you don't need a Bible, you can simply listen to me reading it. And then your reflection time, the purpose of that is to try and focus on the presence of God, to rest in God, to hear what He has to say to you. If your mind gets busy, you can use a sacred phrase or a sacred word, like Jesus or like Lord have mercy. You can use either of those if you don't have your own, and you simply repeat that word or phrase until your mind settles and you are able to come back to just focusing on God. It takes a little while to get used to it, but it's a wonderful experience. So here we go. I'm going to start by reading the scripture. So let's just come into the space, close our eyes to avoid distractions, and bring our whole selves just into this space in this time, just for the short time that we will be in prayer. Let's bring our whole selves here, leave the world behind. Leave the sounds of the world behind. Leave the worries of the world behind. They'll still be there at the end of our 20-minute reflection. Therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from His love, if any common sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and of one mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. I will read it again. Therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being in one spirit and of one mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. Therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any communion sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and of one mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, and not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. Therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in the Spirit and one of mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. So if you have been sitting in deep reflection, just be aware of the space that you're in. Bring your attention into the room and into the world. Twiddle your thumb, your fingers and your toes, and just take a nice deep breath and release it. Open your eyes. And here we are. So I hope that was a very nice experience for you. I hope you feel rested and at peace. And I hope that that lovely scripture spoke to you and gave you encouragement and hope. We know this is a really difficult time. We need all the encouragement that we can get. And the best way to get it is by listening to God. If any of you who are listening there would like to make a comment, you're very welcome. What essentially the scripture is saying to me is that if I enjoy the gifts of God, if I enjoy his love and his compassion, if I've experienced his tenderness, then I should connect with others and behave in the same way so that they can experience those wonderful gifts through me, that God may use me as an instrument of his peace. Our second commandment tells us that we must love one another. We must even love our enemies. And I think this is where I have the greatest challenge, and probably we all do. And that is to love people who have hurt me, love the people who, for some reason that I can't explain, I feel resentful towards. And it's my job as a Christian to sit with those feelings and reflect on them and allow Christ to take them from me so that I can reach out in love to these people. We need to do at least one act of kindness for someone else every single day. And I know that most of you do more than that. So thank you so much for being with me. I pray you will take the words of the scripture with you and keep them in your heart. And I'll see you next week on Thursday. God's love and blessing and all its richness to everybody. Amen.